The Jones v. Mayer case of 1968 determined that Congress could, in fact, regulate the sale of private property to prohibit racial discrimination. This ruling shaped future fair housing laws, so it's essential to understand for your real estate exam. Hello everybody, Zach here from RealEstateLicenseWizard.com. Today we're talking about the Jones v. Mayer case. Let's get started. So what is the Jones v. Mayer case of 1968? Well, Jones v. Mayer is an impactful case where the Supreme Court upheld the Civil Rights Act of 1866 that banned discrimination against black citizens in the private sale and rental of property. It all started when the Alfred H. Mayer Company refused to sell a home to Joseph Lee Jones, an African-American man. Mayer explained to Jones that when he sold homes to black citizens in white neighborhoods, it negatively affected his business. Jones filed a lawsuit against Mayer with the United States District Court. He alleged that Mayer violated the civil rights by racially discriminating against him. However, the District Court and the Court of Appeals dismissed the lawsuits. These courts claimed that the Civil Rights Act applied only to government discrimination. This meant private sellers could still discriminate against prospective home buyers based on race. However, the Supreme Court granted certiorari, or cert for short. This just meant they could review the case themselves and make a final ruling. The Supreme Court had to answer two important questions before making a verdict on Jones v. Mayer. The questions were: 1. Does the Civil Rights Act protect black citizens against private discrimination? 2. Does Congress have the constitutional power to ban private discrimination and enforce the Civil Rights Act? So what was the result of Jones v. Mayer? Well, ultimately, the Supreme Court sided with Jones, ruling that the Civil Rights Act did not allow companies like Mayer to discriminate. This decision set an important precedent for racial discrimination in housing, as Congress finally had the constitutional power to ban private and public discrimination in the sale and rental of property. So what impact did Jones v. Mayer have? Well, a significant one. The Jones v. Mayer decision impacted more than just housing laws. This ruling had larger implications for society as a whole. This awakened the 13th Amendment, starting important conversations about how private discrimination was as economically harmful as public discrimination. It also gave Congress the power to decide that any public or private acts of discrimination were, and I quote, the badges and incidents of slavery. This led to new legislation banning racial discrimination, not just in real estate, but in other markets as well. Now, I briefly want to just cover the context behind this case a little bit more because I think it's incredibly important to understand and to see how it fits into everything. So the 13th Amendment was passed in 1865, and that paved the way for the Civil Rights Act. Obviously, that amendment declared that neither slavery or involuntary servitude could exist in the United States. This was a step in the right direction, but so much more needed to be done. Black citizens did not have access to the same rights as white citizens for buying or selling property. And then the Civil Rights Act of 1866 came around, stating that all people born in the United States are created equal and had full benefits of the law, regardless of race, color, or previous enslavement. This is the act that the Supreme Court had to interpret when making its decision on Jones v. Mayer. Under the Civil Rights Act, black citizens gained the right to make and enforce contacts, sue and be sued, provide evidence in court, and inherit, purchase, lease, sell, hold, and convey real and personal property. Unfortunately, progress took a long time. The brunt of the fight for civil rights occurred in the 1950s and 60s. It wasn't until 100 years later that the Supreme Court made a decision on Jones v. Mayer that significant changes actually started happening. So what specifically became outlawed with the Jones v. Mayer case? Well, denying housing to tenants because they're African American, charging higher fees for racial minorities, harassing minority tenants, steering, which we've talked about extensively in this channel, telling black home buyers a home has been sold when it really has not. Conceptually, the Jones v. Mayer case kicked off this war, the war against racial discrimination and the war for fair housing. I cannot stress the importance of this court case, and it will show up on the real estate exam. So what do you need to know specifically for the real estate exam? Well, the Jones v. Mayer case is an impactful case where the Supreme Court upheld the Civil Rights Act of 1866 that banned discrimination against black citizens in the private sale and rental of property. The Jones v. Mayer Supreme Court ruling upheld the Civil Rights Act and prohibited discrimination against race. While racial discrimination is still a problem in housing, this ruling helped strengthen fair housing laws and is incredibly important to understand. For more videos on fair housing and more videos to get you ready for your real estate exam, click here and click here to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, see ya. Bye-bye.